statement and then jump into questions.
Yeah, before I get started about the game, I want to introduce John Carey. He was smart enough, he was the point guard at Archbishop Malloy High School. We played together, and he was smart enough to throw me the ball. Wait a minute, I got to, after he had shot it like 30 times, he'd give me a touch once in a while. Anyway, that was a great performance from start to finish, jumping out on them 13-1, I believe. Got us off to a great start. There was a lot of energy. And all I can tell you is everybody that came tonight's game is invited back, because that's the kind of environment we'd love to have every night. The whiteout, the noise in the arena before the game even began. The students were packed the end zone. And really, that's what ACC basketball has always been about. Been tremendous fan support. When we go to Duke, it's always packed. We go to Carolina, it's always packed. And we really are headed in the right direction, because each game it just seems to get better and better. And that fuels us. The players, feed off of that electricity, and they are able to sustain effort longer because of the environment. And we sustained it. I was very worried at halftime that we had exhausted ourselves because we played so hard in the first half. I didn't know if we'd have the energy to keep doing it in the second half, but sure enough, we came out and we played like gangbusters to start the second half, got it up to 20, and, outstanding victory.
Going to questions first. One addition to Coach L said 1,811 students tonight, third most in school history. Going to questions.
Coach, was the Norchad on Mirror 3 the way you envisioned the game to start?
It's funny. I've talked to him since he got here. I said, if you want to shoot at three, there are two things. Number one, before you ever shoot it, you got to believe it's going to go in. You got to have that kind of confidence. And the second is you got to be sure it's a good shot. Don't take just any old three. And because they backed off of him and he was so fired up, and he makes them in practice. He doesn't make them every day. He doesn't look for them every day. But when they backed off and gave him the look, he was very, very focused, I'm sure very confident, and it got us off to a great start, because his teammates were sitting on the sidelines saying, man, that's the first three Norchad's made. And then all of a sudden he makes another one, and they're like, oh, man, he's on fire.
Can you talk about his play overall, especially against their front court is so small?
You gotta understand what it's like for a guy who's 6'7", going against two 7-footers who are going to be NBA first-round draft picks. It's not like, okay, he's 7 feet, but he doesn't play that much. And no, these guys are going to get drafted whenever they turn pro. I don't know if it'll be this year, next year, whenever. But they're so highly regarded. Derek Lively is the preseason Rookie of the Year, and Filipowski's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year. So they got two of the very best freshmen and big guys in the league, and they are outstanding defensively in the paint because they can block shots and they can rebound. Two very important qualities of big guys at the defensive end of the court. They block shots, they rebound, and they run. Norchad at 6'7", 245 pounds, he has to deal with that every night. And I know he did not have to deal with that when he was at Arkansas State for 2 years. So the elevation of his game, the advancement he has made offensively and defensively is tremendous. And to be honest, he's just scratching the surface. He's got such a high ceiling, because when you have his kind of athletic ability, the sky's the limit.
Can you talk about what Poplar in these last couple games?
Oh, my goodness.
You mentioned a little bit that you wanted to take more mid-range jump shots. He's starting off fast.
Yeah. Okay, so I've been at this a long time. I've seen a lot of very talented kids. When I was the head coach of Bowling Green State University, we signed a player back in 1993 that was ranked like 400th coming out of high school. His name was Antonio Daniels. He came in as a freshman. He was the Rookie of the Year, got better his sophomore year, junior year. But my vision for him and my message to him was, look, you can be an NBA player if you really lock in. And the next year, I think he was 5th in the country in scoring, 7th in assists, and the 4th player chosen in the draft. Now, the reason I mention that, I told ESPN before the game, he has that kind of trajectory. Wooger's a tremendous athlete with a tremendous shooting touch. You see when he goes after a rebound, he skies above everybody. He can dunk the ball as hard as anyone. But what I've told him, differently than what I told Antonio Daniels, is you got to shoot the pull-up. You can't be trying to drive all the way to the rim like you did in high school. You can shoot the open three, but your game is going to be based on 15-foot jumpers off the bounce, not 5 dribbles, not 10, 1 or 2. And he's starting to do that now more regularly, and he's enjoying success. What happens when you enjoy success? Your confidence grows. And if you remember his one turnover right in front of my bench, he looked over at me and said, my bad. Why did he? He took like 3 or 4 dribbles before he even tried to make the move. He's learning, but he's got a high ceiling as well.
You guys forced 21 turnovers tonight. What was so successful for you guys on defense?
Oh, the activity was tremendous. You know, we made a point of saying we have to be impactful on the ball screens. We were, right? We have to clog the lane, which we did. And then we have to rebound a miss or force a turnover, and we did both. We forced the turnovers, but we also out-rebounded them. You know, again, our starting lineup, 6 foot, 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", 6'7". Their starting lineup, their 3-man is 6'8", and their 4-man 7 feet, their 5-man 7'1". But rebounding is about going after the basketball, boxing out. It's about position, and it's about aggressiveness. Because what I told the players very, very specifically, I asked them a very simple question. What are you going to do to help your team when you don't have the ball? You don't have the ball in your hands. Are you going to play defense? Are you going to rebound? Are you going to run the court? Are you going to share the ball and move the basketball? Are you going to cut hard? And we did all those things.
Jim, especially like in an emotional game, this sort of atmosphere, you see teams get off to 13-1 starts or something like that all the time. And then you turn around and it's 15-14.
Yeah.
You guys didn't allow that to happen tonight. What's that say about this group that they just kept the foot on the gas the whole way?
You know, quite honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. It's hard to do, especially against a team, the quality of Duke. I mean, they've got like 3 McDonald's All-Americans in their starting lineup, guys who are going to play in the NBA. They got a guard, Proctor, who's an experienced international player, and then you've got Jeremy Roach, who's preseason first-team All-Conference. So when a team has that much talent, it's very hard to expect a run like we had. I'm never thinking, okay, this game's over, we're blowing this team out. It never happens. You know, we got ahead 13-1, then they came back, got a little closer, we pulled ahead again, and then towards the end of the half, we were up. Did we get up 20 in the first half? 19, and then they cut it to 14 at the half, and I'm thinking to myself, we exhausted ourselves. Are we going to have energy enough? But when we came out in the second half, you saw the crowd fueled us to keep it going. That's hard to do. It's impossible on the road, you know, because the opponent has the crowd for them.
A 13-1 start and then a 9-0 start to the second half. Was that the crowd or was that inspirational pregame words from the head coach?
What is funny, my message to them, I showed you what I said. I told you what I said. I brought a basketball in. I rarely do that, and I threw it off the board, and I rebounded it. You don't know. I have like a 40-inch vertical. So I just was demonstrating to them my mindset was we got to go after every basketball. And quite frankly, defense is effort. You have to be able to go after loose balls. You saw the ones that were on the ground. You know, both teams diving for it, fighting for it, jump balls.
How much confidence did that win over Clemson give you guys coming into this?
Yeah, you know, that probably registered very, very deeply with our team because Clemson was on a 15-game home court winning streak. They have a guy who's perhaps the player of the year. They're still in first place. And, you know, to win at their place it took a great team effort as well. Different than today. You know, that game was more about just pure efficiency. This game was about pure adrenaline, just from start to finish, effort. in every category.
Got time for a couple more.
Coach, your team had 21 assists. Just what do you think of the team's overall ball movement?
Yeah, that's the whole key. If we can get 16 assists or more, we're going to have a great shot. If we out-rebound the opponent, we've got a great shot as well. You combine those and you get both. You win the battle on the boards and you get 21 assists, you got a darn good chance of winning that ball game.
And Coach, like you just said,
Are you a student?
I'm not, well, I am a student, but not with Michelle.
He was last year.
I was last year.
Oh, okay.
But I work for the newspaper. But I was going to ask, 16 assists, and 4 of your guys were in double figures. So you're really sharing the ball. It was a whole team effort. How much of a welcome sight is that? And as a coach, how do you get your team to, your whole team to contribute as one?
Well, you know, quite frankly, that started in the summer. When all these guys came in July, our freshmen, transfers and everything, they just worked so hard and developed great relationships on the court and off the court. And that bonding oftentimes leads to the chemistry you're seeing now on the court. It can't be there like every day. Like you say, well, you know, can they play that like that again? Yeah, well, we can. But the likelihood that you're going to play at that level every single game is not realistic. There's just too many different styles of play in the league, and they challenge you to adjust to them. Right? Today, Duke had to adjust to us because of our level of effort. Right? But we go on the road, and then the opponent is playing with that kind of energy. So, but it's a great testament to my assistant coaches who work with the guys every day, and the players for listening and paying close attention.
Coach, you guys had 16 offensive rebounds tonight. You guys attempted 13 more shots than Duke. What does the effort on the offensive glass do for your team?
You know, Duke's strength is offensive rebounding. And if you can limit them, that's really important. If at the other end of the court, we're getting on the offensive boards, well, Northshad's going to go after every rebound offensively and defensively. But when the other guys are chipping into that category, you know, you win by a lot of points.